In this video, I'm going to show you when to turn off an ad. So we're going to look inside of this prospecting campaign. So as we click inside of it, you see that we recently launched just a few days ago 5 different ad sets in here. Each of these ad sets has one ad. So we have each level of awareness, and then we just say V1, so it's version 1 of these. So essentially we're testing one ad in each of them. We're trying to find winning ads for each level of awareness. So what we're going to do first is set the time frame to maximum, as you see we have already, and then we're going to organize the columns by ROAS. So as we organize by ROAS, it brings up the best performing ads to the top. Remember, ROAS means return on ad spend. So if it's a 3x ROAS, that means for every $100 that you're spending, you're getting back 300, or every $1,000 that you're spending, you're getting back 3,000, and so on. So essentially, we're bringing all of our winning ad sets, aka our winning ads, because we only have one ad within each of them, to the top, so we know exactly what to trim, meaning turn off, which would be towards the bottom. So the rule of thumb that you typically want to use with ecom accounts is, first of all, you need to know your average CPA for the account. So I know for this account, our average CPA, and that means for ecom, it means cost per action, meaning cost per purchase for ecom, and for lead gen, it would be cost per lead or cost per call, depending on what you're optimizing for. But our CPA for ecom, and this is an ecom account, means our cost per purchase. And so for this specific account, our average cost per purchase is typically around $50. You can see in this account, it's showing around $73, but this is a new testing campaign. On all of our old campaigns, the average cost per purchase usually comes out to about $50. If you don't have that data yet and it's a new account, you can just guess what your ideal CPA or cost per purchase will be, or what you want it to be. In most scenarios, it's typically about a third of what you're selling the product for if you have no idea. Most accounts nowadays are typically running at a 2.5 to 3.5x. So you can just say a third of what you're selling the product for. That would be a good guess if you have no idea what your average CPA or cost per purchase is yet. So looking in this account, knowing that our average cost per purchase is normally about $50, the rule of thumb that we want to use is we either want to cut the ads if they have spent 1 times the CPA, so 1x the CPA, so they've spent $50 and have no add to carts, or if they've spent 3 times the CPA, so they've spent $150 in this specific account and are not profitable. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking at the bottom. You can see we've had a lot of add to carts, $10 add to carts. So people are starting to check out, but they're not completing their checkout. But if we look at the total spend, it's only spent a total of $118 so far for this specific ad. So to get to 3 times our ideal, or 3 times our CPA, we're going to have to let it spend to $150. So by the end of tomorrow, we should have an answer on if we need to cut this campaign. If it doesn't get 2 or 3 purchases tomorrow, we'll most likely need to turn off, not this campaign, we'll most likely need to turn off this ad set. So now moving up to the next ad set, you see that we have spent $115 right here. It only has a 0.85 ROAS, return on ad spend. So the numbers aren't looking great so far, but it technically hasn't spent 3 times our CPA yet. So we're still going to wait until the end of tomorrow to turn it off. Now moving up, you can see this ad set has spent $116. And just for clarity, this is how much it's made. So the amount spent, and then purchase conversion value is how much it has made so far. And the reason just to give context, the reason we allow it to spend 3 times the CPA, because you might think, man, why wouldn't you turn it off? It's not profitable immediately. Typically what we see is that if it's not profitable within 3 times your normal CPA, it won't be profitable long term. But there are a lot of ads that won't perform right out of the gate when you first launch them. But when they start to spend around 2 or 3 times your normal CPA, all of a sudden they'll start running really profitably. We're giving each ad a very fair chance to run profitably. If we only ran it for 1 time, the CPA, like if we only spent $50 per ad, and if it's not profitable, we turned it off, there's part of our mind that would wonder if that ad would have become profitable if we would have let it run for a little longer, if we would have let it run to $100 or $150. And we do see that happen a lot, to where it's not profitable in the first $50 you spend, but it's profitable by the time you spend $100 or $150. So that's why we're letting it run to that 3x the CPA amount of spend. So as we go up, you can see all of these have spent about the same, $110 to $115 each. You can see this has had 2 purchases for $55 per purchase, and it has a 2.20 ROAS. And then if we move up to this top ad set, you can see that it has had 3 purchases for $37 each, $37.50. And it has a 3.11 ROAS, 3.11 return on ad spend, which is great. That is the metrics that we would use to turn off, to know when to turn off an ad. And because each of these only has 1 ad in it, you can simply turn this off. Let's say that this had already spent $150 and had no purchases. You would simply hit this little blue icon. See how it says ad set on? If you click on this icon, it will turn the ad set off, and it will automatically turn off the ad inside of it. It'll turn off, even if you had multiple ads, it would turn off everything inside of it. So you don't have to come in and turn off the ad in addition to the ad set. You can simply turn off this ad set, and that's it, and it will disable the ad inside of it. That is it for when to turn off an ad for ecom, and I will see you in the next video.